Hello everyone, I'm Jinni. Let's start from the beginning. I'll try to be very brief, maybe more videos like this will come in the future. Even if you're an intermediate player, what will be said will probably help you remind what's important or what may be missing in your game. So let's get to it. First, analyze your matchup and use your life as a resource if possible. Some decks or regions have trouble dealing damage directly to the nexus, so as long as you have a unit to block, you'll probably be able to maneuver and reduces the chances of losing. So don't rush into sacrificing your own units into trades that will probably be the start of your demise. Trade effectively. Second, be mindful of what your opponent may have at hand. Now, every time we're talking about competitive gaming, information is very important. So in a scenario that the meta is well established, you should even open websites with common decks, so you know exactly what your enemy has. For information is the key for victory. Once you know his decks, and sometimes you will get it by experience because many decks tend to repeat themselves, start thinking about what your enemy may do that turn and what answers he may have to your game plan, and play around that. And the only time you should discard this idea is when you're in a position like where if you don't play that card, you're probably gonna lose, and you're probably gonna lose anyway, so you may as well try to win that turn, so you play a card that otherwise you would not do it because you think your opponent has a strategy to counteract that. But sometimes they don't, so it's fine. For example, let's say that you have a very key champion on your hand, and if your enemy removes that champion, you'll probably lose the game, but if you don't play that champion, you're probably gonna lose anyway. So you play that, and sometimes they don't have the removal and you win the game. To be very honest with you, there's a very fine line between going right or wrong, and you will have to learn each scenario by experience. Third, very basic, but be careful not to attack mindlessly and leave yourself with no units to defend on your enemy's turn. There were many times where I've won games like that where my enemy just simply blocked with everything, and then he didn't have anything to deal with me on the next turn, and then I just go for an open attack and win. So you should not do that. You should mind your hand. You should see if you will have an answer to next turn, or if perhaps you should take a little bit more damage to the nexus and sacrifice a little bit more health to just maneuver better on the next turn. You should analyze the matchup and see if you can do that. Because if your opponent manages to clear your board, then you're open. You don't have anything. You maybe don't have a removal at hand, and you're gonna take damage from 3 different creatures. Maybe it's not lethal, but it will lead to lethal later on because you didn't manage your resources the way you should. So be very mindful of that. Sometimes in order to win a game, you have to play it safer, depending on what type of deck you're running. Let's say for example that you were in a mid-range deck and you're going against a deck that has a lot of spiders and has a lot of aggro early on. It's better to skip your attacks and not sacrifice your units and just have them block, and then so you can keep your game going until it gets to a point where you can start dropping big units and take control of the game once again, because there are a lot of decks out there that runs out of steam very fast. So if you can survive that early aggression, if it doesn't matter if you didn't do damage to the nexus, if you can survive, you're probably going to win later on if you have a deck that is able to do that. So yeah, think before attacking. It's very important. Fourth, familiarize yourself with the deck you have. For example, let's say that you were running Callista, right? In that case, let's say that you're attacking. It's better to put your units in a position that when your enemy blocks, your unit will die before your Callista, so she maybe she will level up. And then you say, oh, but she's going to die anyway. Yeah, but if she levels up, all the other 2 copies of her, will be leveled up as well. So later on in the game, you will drop a leveled up Callista, which is way better. So know how your cards work, know your deck, know how to play it, and minimal details like this counts. It makes a difference. Let's say that you have a very high damaging, overwhelming unit. Using it in order to attack first may end the game right then and there, because let's say that your enemy has a high damaging unit as well, and then you put another unit to attack first before your overwhelming unit. If your enemy has lifesteal, he probably can get that health back, and now you don't kill him, for example. So positioning your units properly according to your deck is very important. You should do mind that. You should pay attention to that. Now, fifth and last for this video, always think ahead. This is one of the most important things there is in card games. How well you can do this dictates how well you play this type of game. And this should start even at the mulligan phase, for example. Let's say that your opening hand has a deny, and having that deny later on may be the key to winning the game. Let's say that your opponent has just one removal on his deck, because you know his deck, you've been playing, and if you don't keep that deny, for example, let's say, you lose the game later on. You have to analyze if that deny is worth keeping or not. You have to play the game ahead of you. You have to think on what your enemy may have, and you have to think before you do things. Or maybe you know that if it gets to a certain point, you will need a certain mana to make a certain play that will win you the game, or that will stop your enemy on his strategy. Therefore, you will be a step ahead, and you will know how to play accordingly to have that mana and to play well when the time comes. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I have other things that I would say as well, but the video would be too long. So thank you for watching. Leave a like if you liked the video, subscribe for more content that will certainly come in the future, and comment if you want to say anything. So that's gonna be it for this video, and see ya!